it's Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I'm back today with my last layout for week 1 of Kit Conspiracy with MK and Janet. And if you want to see everything that was in my kit, then I have the link to my kit share video in the description below. So I wanted to use this paper. I had cut the bottom half off and used the top on another layout, and it had like this foliage scene. So I fussy cut around all of the butterflies and mushrooms and everything from that piece of paper, and I wanted to put it at the bottom. And I kind of was picturing like a lower half of a wreath, because it kind of does that circle, half circle towards the bottom. And so then I wanted to put my pictures above it. And I went around and used my stylus and foam on all the leaves and the mushrooms, just to give them some dimension so they didn't just stay so flat on the page. And then I also inked everything with walnut stain, distress ink. And so I have this tree ring stencil, and so I wanted to put that in the background of this layout. And so I used the walnut stain, and I didn't push really hard, so it's not like the darkness of the walnut stain, and it just has just so that it would be in the background. And I didn't want it to just be a square, so you see here I'm doing around the edges. I cover a lot of this up, but I wanted to have parts of it peeking through, and as always, I wasn't sure exactly how everything was going to lay out, so I just put it randomly around the background. And I like how it turned out. It looks a little funky without anything on the page here as I'm doing it. It looks more like zebra-esque, but it turned out really good to have it peeking out on different parts of the layout. And so I'm just getting everything laid back out so I can decide where I want to put things. But I want to work on this. I wanted to make a shaker pocket using the one of the mason jars that was element on the back of the paper pad that you could fussy cut out. So I cut out the middle of it, and I am inking around the inside, and I'm using just a piece of packaging. I had thought about using vellum, but the vellum you couldn't really see inside. I wanted you to be able to see inside the shaker, and so I just grabbed a piece of packaging and I glued it on the top part here, and then cut the excess out. And then I have this really tiny foam tape, and so I'm going to put that around the edge, as well as some foam on the very top of the mason jar, so that I have room to have it be a shaker. And I'm just using one of these scrap pieces of paper left over from one of the layouts that I did this week already, and it's going to be the back of the mason jar. And it's actually it's the brown color of because my 12 by 12 paper that I'm using is the green one, and then this is actually the brown one, so it kind of matches all together. And I inked the edges of that as well. And then I went through my laser cut elements from the 49 Market, and I picked out all the small mushrooms, and there are some medium sized, there's a couple of the bigger mushrooms in there. And then I had these little die cut ferns, and so I cut those up so that there was just bits of them inside the mason jar. And I cut some of the mushrooms, had smaller mushrooms mixed in with bigger ones, so I cut the smaller ones off. I just wanted to have the smaller bits in the shaker pocket. And then I'm going to lay my back piece on top, and this is always the nerve-wracking part, because I want to make sure that I line it up correctly. And then I will just trim off the edges, because I didn't cut too well when I cut the back piece, because I knew I was going to have to trim up the edges. And then I inked around the outside of the pocket. But yeah, so it made a cute little shaker pocket, and I wanted to figure out where I was going to put it. I thought I was going to put it near the pictures, but then I really liked the idea of putting it up in the corner. And you'll see I will embellish it some more. I'm going to use one of the rub-ons from the collection to put on top of it, and it says walk in the woods, and then I'll add some twine to the top. So I still am gonna embellish the shaker pocket a little bit more, but I really like how it looked. And so I'm just trying to figure out if I want to put foliage around the mason jar, because I kind of want to put a title up there from the rub-on package, but I was trying to figure out how I wanted, because I didn't want it to just be floating up there. And I wanted to get an idea of that, because then it depended on where I was going to put my photos on the page. And so I will not have any of that foliage up there. I'm actually going to put that in with my clusters at the bottom. But you can see here, I wanted to fill in, so I have the piece that I cut out, the piece of paper, and I will pop that up on foam, and then I want to fill in all around with the laser cut elements, just to make the scene at the bottom a little bit more dimensional and have different layers and different things kind of sticking out from that. And here I'm just really kind of laying things out, trying to figure out where I want to put everything. And the birds up at with the shaker pocket, I will cut one of them off, but I will use the one bird and move all of the foliage from around the mason jar to the bottom with all of the embellishments. And so while I'm doing that, thank you to everyone that's liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons below. And if you want to be notified of videos, just hit the little bell. And make sure you check out all the information in the description box, everything for Kit Conspiracy. There's a link to the Facebook page. There's links to MK and Janet's YouTube videos. And there's a link to my kit share video for this week 1 of the Kit Conspiracy. And so, as you can see, I fiddled around, I fiddle around with this a lot. This is why I edit my videos, because no one needs to see me moving mushrooms around a page for an hour and a half. But I decided I wanted a little cluster down in the bottom left on top of the page that I cut out. So I do a little mushroom cluster down there. Excuse me. And so I got all that set out, and I like how that looked. And then I realized I need to back my photos and get those photo mats on, and then I also need to pop up the bottom piece. And so you'll see here, I remove everything from the page. I spent all this time laying that all out, and then I have to take it all off the page to back the bottom piece up on some foam. And so it just makes me laugh sometimes, that the amount of time I spend just with moving embellishments around. Here's where I decided I wanted to zhuzh up my shaker pocket. And so I took one of those rub-ons, and it says walk in the woods, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the shaker pocket. And so I used some pretty thin plastic from a package that I had for it. And so it was hard to get the rub-on to stick, because I had already built the shaker pocket. If I had thought about it in the beginning and put it on before I glued the shaker pocket together, it would have been a lot easier. But I managed to get it on there. It just took a lot more scrubbing of the rub-on. But I wrapped a piece of twine around the top, and just going to tie a little knot in it. But I really like how that came out. I think it turned out really cute. There was another one I thought about. It's a little bit of a smaller mason jar, and I thought about doing another one on this layout, but I have packed so much on here that the one was enough. But you can see I tried with the foliage, it just didn't work, so I removed it, and I like that so much better up there. And I cut off the one weird bird. It was throwing me off because the birds were facing different ways. So you couldn't have them like going straight up, because then one was upside down, and it couldn't go across because then it was facing. It was strange. So I just cut one of the birds off, and I will have the one kind of sitting on top of the the layout or on top of the picture. And this nature cutout or rub on is what I'm gonna put up there as kind of the title. And so as you can see, I did all that, and then I decided I need to pop up this bottom piece, and I had to take everything off the layout, and then I'll put it back on. And of course I won't make you guys watch me then add everything to the layout. And so I'm gonna do my picture mats, and this plaid paper from the collection I really liked, and I thought it was a nice stark difference from any, like the background. It would really make the picture stand out. And then I used a scrap of some craft paper to double photo mat them, and it turned out really cute. And I inked all the edges with this with the Distress Ink walnut stain. And so again, getting everything back on the layout where I want to put it. And these are pictures of us in Sedona, and we are hiking, and this tree on the hike is like an energy vortex, and I guess there's only so many that exist. And so when you're on there, you could take, like, she had these 2 metal rods, and they will touch on their own around this tree, and if you step away from the tree, then they won't do it. But something in this tree is the center of an energy vortex. So it was really quite interesting. And then of course the tree itself is just beautiful. I have more pictures that I took of just the tree, so I will probably do like a little half-page insert in my album of just the tree, because I thought it alone was really cool. It has these, like, the bark looks like stripes. I don't know. It's a very, very pretty tree. But as you can see, I got everything back in on the layout down at the bottom. It added a lot of dimension, popping that bottom piece up and then having all the other mushrooms and foliage kind of stuck in there. And I put some butterflies in there. I did put a bird and a little mouse down there because I just thought it was cute. But that's the layout, guys, in my shaker pocket. I just love it. And I put a butterfly up on the mason jar for that as well. But yeah, everyone have a great day. Bye.